Classes they have started, sir? No, not yet, na?
No,
Not yet.
classes we are taking online only.
Okay, fine.
Students, they are not coming to college.
Okay, fine.
That is this. I think this condition is
Convocation
the
also
same
online
everywhere.
only, sir? Convocation
Yeah,
also
yeah.
online
Yes,
only.
yes, yes. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
In August, I think third week only we have finished with our online convocation.
Okay, fine.
All things are changed.
Yes, sir. Now you have to adapt to the new thing, actually,
Yes,
online
of course. Yes, yes,
platform.
yes.
Preja, madam. Preja, ma'am. Yeah, please, ma'am.
Hello,
Madam
sir.
is
Good
our
afternoon, sir.
HOD, pharmacology.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, sir. Myself, Dr. Preja, sir.
Hello, madam.
Sir, you know that Dr. Swati Mittal?
Swati Mittal, yes, yes, yes. She was with us.
Yeah, actually,
For
she was my former colleague of BES College.
which one?
BES College of Pharmacy. Chembur.
Okay, VS. Yeah, I know that
Yeah,
VS.
yeah.
It,
I
so
think
you
so
were
many
in
people are
VS college.
joining. Yeah, up to 2012.
Okay, up to 2012.
Yeah. Karthikeyan sir, shall we start? Let others to join later.
Nirmala College of Pharmacy, Muattura, is organizing 4 days online in-house faculty development program on innovative idea, strategies for writing successful grant proposal, and importance of IPR. Today is the fourth day of the FDP program. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Deepa Jose, Vice Principal, HOD, Pharmaceutical Chemistry, Nirmala College of Pharmacy, to welcome the participants. Madam, please.
Good afternoon, one and all. Respected resource person, Dr. Yogesh A. Kulkarni, Dr.
Good
Preja,
afternoon.
R&D Cell, Dr. Karthikeyan, Head IAC, other faculty members, and dear students. I'm really very happy to address you on this occasion, the last day of FDP organized by R&D Cell of Nirmala College of Pharmacy. Today we have a very eminent resource person with us, Dr. Yogesh A. Kulkarni. He's an efficient academician and excellent researcher. Actually, the Nirmala College of Pharmacy, we are really honored and privileged to have Dr. Yogesh with us to enrich us on the topic prototype research proposal design. On behalf of Nirmala College of Pharmacy, I would like to extend a warm welcome to Dr. Yogesh A. Kulkarni.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Let me take the opportunity to welcome all other members, all other faculty members, our principal, our administrator, and other teachers and students to this FDP. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to invite Mrs. Lindsay Mary Joy, Associate Professor, Department of Pharmacognosy, to give the introduction of the speaker. Madam, please.
Good afternoon, one and all. It's my pleasure to introduce our today's resource person, Dr. Yogesh A. Kulkarni, Associate Professor and Associate Dean, Shobhaben Pradabhai Patel School of Pharmacy and Technology Management, Mumbai. Dr. Yogesh Kulkarni has 16 years of teaching and research experience. He has 85 publications in peer-reviewed journals, and authored 9 books, 26 book chapters, and filed 1 patent. He has fetched research funding of more than 1 crore from Government of India and remaining from industry. He has supervised 40 plus PG students for their research project and has guided 3 students for their doctoral degree. Dr. Yogesh has 70 plus presentation to his credit, and he has visited countries like USA, UK, and with travel grants from various government agencies and British Pharmacological Society UK to present his work at international level. He is recipient of prestigious DST Inspire Faculty Award 2006. 12. He has received the Best Faculty Award and Best Researcher Award in 2016 from SVKMS Mumbai. He is Associate Editor of International Journal BMC Complementary Medicine and Therapies published by Springer Nature. He is a reviewer for 65 reputed journals such as Phytotherapy Research, RSC Advances, Life Sciences, Frontiers in Cell and Developmental Biology, Journal of Pharmacy and Pharmacology, etc. He is a member of professional bodies such as American Society of Pharmacology and Experimental Therapeutics, British Pharmacological Society, Indian Pharmacological Society, Society of Toxicology, Indian Society of Pharmacognosy, Association of Pharmaceutical Teachers of India, and Laboratory Animal Scientists Association. He is also a fellow of Academic Science of Animal Welfare. On behalf of NCP, I welcome you, sir, for today's section. Welcome you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. Thank you for this introduction. Shall I start?
Yes, sir, you can start, sir. You can share your session. You can proceed with your session, sir.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank
so I'm thankful to Nirmala College of Pharmacy for inviting me for this interaction. I'll say this is interaction only because all of us are involved in teaching to our UG, PG, and PhD students. So it is always better to interact with everyone, rather to give a lecture or to take a session. So today also I don't have any presentation with me, and I will be sharing my experiences, and I will be telling you a few important points which are very helpful for writing good proposals. You might have heard about many funding agencies. You might have heard about different types of schemes which are there with various funding agencies in India and abroad. But the main problem when it comes to writing proposal, it comes is how to start. And yes, ideas. There are many ideas in different areas in pharmaceutical sciences, but if we want to go ahead with any one idea for writing a proposal, how to start and which important points we have to emphasize, we have to focus on is very important. Now, first, let me give you a brief idea about all these different types of agencies, which you have already, you can say, heard, which you might be knowing, and many of you might have already applied to these funding agencies. So in India, yes, Government of India, we have a separate Ministry of Science and Technology. It covers Department of Science and Technology and Department of Biotechnology. And these two departments, they are mainly involved in funding different types of projects in different domains of science. So pharmaceutical sciences is also one of the important domain which is covered under health sciences under this ministry. And many of our faculty colleagues from pharmaceutical sciences, they are working on research projects funded by these two departments of Ministry of Science and Technology. You might have heard about different types of schemes which are available with these agencies like DST DBT. I'm just talking only about DST DBT, but there are many agencies like ICMR is there, then Ayush is there, Department of Atomic Energy is there, DRDO is there, CSIR is there. So all these funding agencies, yes, we can apply, and we can take these funds to do some good type of research. Now, in case of DST and DBT, there are around two important types of scheme. First, a scheme is related with young researchers or young academicians with certain age limit like 32 years or 35 years. And the second set of scheme is related with what? To the senior scientist, or you can say senior faculty members, or you can say established faculty members in specific research areas. So tapping a correct scheme is very important, and which scheme is suitable for our type of research work is also important. So generally what we do, we just visit website of all these agency. We just see that if any call is open for any research grant proposal, and we just try to fit our area in that grant proposal. Now this is not the case. If we have our specific area, then we have to tap a specific scheme. Now if we opt for a wrong scheme, obviously our proposal will not be, you can say, granted by that funding agencies. Then second important point is that when we go through documents of these different types of scheme, each scheme has its own format. Each scheme has its own format, and let me tell you, this has happened with me also. We generally don't focus on the format, and obviously when the format is given by the funding agency, it is very necessary to stick to that particular format. If we deviate, it may happen that the funding agency will not consider our proposal for preliminary screening also. So the format and the requirement which is there for each point in that format, it must be known previously before we start writing proposal to any funding agency under any scheme. So today what I will do, I have a template of SCRB with me. Yeah, you might have applied to SCRB, and you might have got grant from SCRB. But as far as my experience is concerned, how to write that proposal by using that format is very important, and I would like to share this writing by using that template of any funding agency. I'm just taking example of SCRB, because SCRB is also autonomous body of science and technology, and it provides funding in different areas. Pharma sciences is also one of the important areas. Now, when it comes to proposal in specific area, now for example, proposal in pharmacognosy, or proposal in pharmacology, or proposal in pharmaceutical technology, or proposal in pharmaceutics per se, of course, there is no specific you can say areas in different funding agency in schemes that this scheme will be funding to proposals in pharmacognosy area, ecology area. No. What they are interested in the outcome, and they are interested in the idea, and even the type of institute is not considered. If that idea is excellent, if the proposed research is excellent, then they are not looking at the college, or they are not looking at the university. They will give you the funds. So this is very, you can say, excellent part as far as the funding agency is concerned. The type of research and the concept is very important. If they like the concept, yes, it will be funded. It is not seen that which is the college, which is the state, etc., etc. No, this is very important. Now I'm just sharing this template, and we'll start with writing how to write by using this particular template. Can I just ask all participants, how many of the participants they are currently working on any type of funded project? Yes, anyone? Yes, any type of government funded project, or you can say industry funded project? Yes.
Sir, actually, we applied, but we haven't received any funding.
Okay. Okay. You
We
applied.
ap- yeah, actually, we got only minor grants from Kerala
In
state.
Kerala State. Okay.
Yeah.
A university, you mean to say?
No, it's not university. Actually, it's a Kerala State Council for Science and Technology. They are funding for minor projects under the support of DST.
Okay, okay, I know that each state is having its separate
Yeah,
council, science and
yeah,
technology. Yeah, even Maharashtra and Gujarat, even Rajasthan, each
yeah.
state has its. Okay, fine. Can I just ask one question? To which funding agencies you have applied?
Sir, we are applying for ICMR and I think SERB, DST, and most of the faculty are trying from their own side, but they are lacking to write the proposal, but get succeeded at. That
Okay,
is the
fine.
main problem we are facing. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, fine, we can just discuss. Even I'm not the expert, and I have also learned from many of my colleagues, and I have also learned from our senior faculty members and which points to be focused, etc., etc. So I have worked on a project funded by DST uh, under this Inspire faculty scheme, which is given to young academicians who is below 32 years. Last 2 years only, I finished with that project of DST, which was funded for 5 years, 35 lakhs from Department of Science and Technology. And after that, I wrote one proposal to Ministry of Ayush, and it was sanctioned under this EMR scheme, extramural research scheme. That was also around 36 lakhs, and that project will be finishing this year. So I have worked only on two projects, and even the funding agency will see that how many projects the PI is running, and if the PI is running, one or two or two three projects, then they will not generally consider PI for giving the funds, because you know that executing a research project is a big task, and it requires time, it requires perfection, and it requires attention, and it requires a lot of work. So along with our regular teaching, we have to do all these things. So this is very important to spare time for such type of research projects. So yes, I DST is there. SERB I applied, but they, as I was having DST Inspire grant, they told that it cannot be funded because two or three projects from same funding agency, generally they don't give to same PI. But now I have applied to CRG because I have finished with my DST Inspire grant successfully. Uh, Fine. Now, as far as this DST is concerned, I'll request, and even you might have gone through website of SERB and website of DST. These two are different things. DST, they have their own a set of schemes, and SERB, they have their own set of schemes. And SERB is very dynamic. They are changing their schemes yearly basis. They are changing names. They are, they are announcing different types of new schemes. You might have heard about a core research grant for only COVID-19 proposals. They asked last year, and they funded many good research proposals based on COVID. So COVID-19. So based on the based on the requirement, yes, they will call for proposal. And again, I'm telling you, we should not think that this call is not for me. This call is for some other type of researcher. Now, I believe that it is the time where we have to think out of box, and it is the time where we have to focus on multidisciplinary research. We should not just stick to our areas like pharmacognosy or pharmacology or pharmaceutics. It is nowadays, as it has become important to learn all these sciences and to integrate all these sciences and to write a proposal. And this was experienced by me also. That's why in this call I wrote something different, which is not 100% my area of interest. I work in preclinical pharmacology, focusing on diabetes and diabetic complication. My two projects were also there on diabetic complications only. But now when we think about basic research, yes, we have to merge basic research with applicative research, and we have to submit proposal in that way. uh, these statements may sound vague, multidisciplinary research and integrate, and these are common state, but how to think about such type of projects is also important. I'll give a simple example. One of my PhD student worked on essential oils. We know essential oils, their cost and their role in the diet, right? He worked on essential oils for his PhD, and uh, he worked on Alzheimer's disease and essential oils. So we got excellent results, but what next? Yeah, PhD was submitted and he got PhD, he published papers, that's it. What next? So what we thought, though pharmaceutics is not my area of research, and if that particular essential oil will not enter into market for management of Alzheimer's disease, the research which is carried out by that PhD student will remain in the library itself. It will not come out. Few of our faculty members who are doing research in Alzheimer's disease, they will read his paper and they will cite his paper, that's it. What next? So what we thought, the oils, they are very simple oils, regularly available oils in the market. Can we have a simple formulation of that oil with specific dose which can be used for management of Alzheimer's disease? This was the simple idea. Okay. Now when we talk about oil, what is the common formulation which can be done? It's a simple emulsion, right? Emulsion, we can try for emulsion. When we talk about dose, yes, we can have dose reduction by using nanotechnology approach, that is nano emulsion. Still nano emulsions, they are economical as compared to the other nano formulations which are not economical. And a few faculty who are involved in pharmaceutics research, they will agree that nanotechnology based products are excellent, but there are some problems related with large scale production and cost also, right? That's why the number of products which are there based on nanotechnology, they are very less. So we thought that we'll just prepare a nano emulsion for the essential oil, which we have worked, and we got excellent results, and we submitted that particular proposal to one of the funding agency, and that is under evaluation. So this is the next stage of the research which is carried out by one of my student in the area of pharmacology. But I have taken help of one of my faculty who is there in the pharmaceutics, and I discussed with him, and we wrote a combined proposal. So this interdepartmental collaboration is also important. We cannot work in isolation nowadays. The days are gone, we are just working on one paper and publishing one paper. No, we have to take help of all other colleagues which have expertise in different areas, like pharmaceutics, pharmacochemistry, or you can say pharmacognosy, whatever it may be. Now science is common. Science has become common. If we go through different types of patents and different types of good research papers, we'll find 10 to 15 collaborations in one type of research work. This is very important, because one scientist, one faculty member cannot have expertise in all areas. This truth we have to accept. That's why we have to take help of others and go ahead with writing a good proposal which will click. So this was one of my experience for the grant which I have submitted right now. Now second experience I will share with my Ayush grant. It was based on a simple formulation which is given in Ayurveda. It is called as Triphala Churna. I think all of you will be knowing Triphala Churna, right? So Triphala Churna is having excellent effect in many conditions. It is a powder of only 3 fruits. We know it, but the 3 fruits are excellent. Amla, Harda, and Behda. In traditional text, yes, here we have to take help of expert from Ayurveda. We cannot read traditional text from Ayurveda. So we took help of one Ayurvedic faculty member from renowned Ayurveda college, and we thought that we have to submit one proposal to Ayush. Now, for Ayush, obviously they are focusing on proposals related with traditional system of medicine. They will not fund research work based on nanotechnology and some different types of science. It's a separate agency. So even we can go through website of Ayush, you will find which type of research projects they have funded. Now this information generally we don't look for, which type of projects have been funded by these funding agencies. Ministry of Ayush, yes, they have given all details of the projects funded by Ayush. Same thing is applicable for DST, different schemes under DST. Yes, they have mentioned all the funded projects. So it gives idea that whether the scheme is suitable for our proposal or not. I told initially, the identifying the scheme and identifying the funding agency is very important. Then I'm teaching pharmacognosy in NMIMS. I'm teaching pharmacology in NMIMS. I'm teaching research methodology in NMIMS to PhD students. So of course we have to read, right? We cannot just go ahead with any lecture to any class nowadays, because students are too smart. They know everything. That's why we have to be updated. So yes, we have to read. So that Triphala concept came in my mind when I was reading a monograph of Amla, Harda and Behda. It's a simple, what you can say, concept. Amla, Harda and Behda. Now we know it consists of tannins, and tannins, they have been extensively studied in diabetes and diabetic complication. We can go through the literature. I know that because this is my area, I'm just reading that only. Then what I thought, if these three powdered drugs are used since long time as a Rasayana drug, a protective drug, Rasayana drug, have this combination been studied for management of diabetes? Because Amla is known to have anti-diabetic effects. Harda, Behda, they have also studied for their beneficial effect in diabetes, and the results are promising. And I started finding the literature. It's a simple formulation. Just find out whether it is it has been studied in diabetes or not. I have gone through literature. Then I found that there are 2-3 papers, but not good quality papers based on diabetes and this combination. So yes, of course, it was there. Then I discussed with my friends from Ayurveda that whether this churna is prescribed in some conditions like hyperglycemia, etc., etc. So they said yes, sometimes they prescribe such type of formulation, because Ayurveda is patient oriented. It is not population oriented. Okay, fine. Then I started searching information on whether each fruit has been studied for diabetic complication or not. Amla, Harda and Behda. Yes, I got few results related with Amla, that Amla has been studied for its effect in diabetic complication. Fine. Then I started Harda and Behda. No, but what I did in 2 years, I tasted that Terminalia Chebula extract in diabetic nephropathy, and I got good results. One of my MPharm student did this work. So I propose that these 3 drugs, they consist of tannins. Tannins are good antioxidant. Tannins are having good anti-diabetic activity. This formulation is safe because it is used since long time. This formulation is economical because it is easily available in the market, and no one will question on its toxicity because it is from Ayurveda. It is well established formulation. Okay. Then I propose this hypothesis that, based on the literature, the combination of these 3 fruit powders will be having beneficial effect in diabetic complication. Now, why I chose diabetic complication? Because even I did my PhD in diabetes and complications. So, and diabetes, we know the severity of diabetes nowadays and subsequent severity of complications in different you can say individuals with respect to different systems, like neuro, nephro, cardio, whatever it may be. That's why I'm interested in complication part only. So yes, I wrote that particular proposal. I wrote that proposal myself. Now this is also important. First we have to struggle, and first we have to spend time, and first we have to put our efforts for writing proposal. And when we get our first proposal, when we get our second proposal, we have a manpower with us, we have our students. Then we can tell our students how to write, then they can write for you. Okay, but initially we have to spend, we have to write, if we have to set our tone in the area of research. Then yes, the proposal, yes, I submitted, and I forgot I have submitted, because let me tell you, first of my proposal which was sanctioned by DST, before that I wrote 3 to 4 proposals, and all proposals were rejected. So this was my idea, just write, submit and forget, write, submit and forget. It will click when the time will come. And these are not, you can say, simple words which we hear from different people, and we read it in messages. No, these are experiences. Just do it and forget it. When it will click, it will click. And then this proposal was shortlisted. I was very happy, because that this was my idea and my concept. It was shortlisted. I presented that particular proposal before committee, and yes, with few modifications, it was sanctioned. And yes, the amount was excellent. I got PhD student and research fellow. I procured instruments also which are required to execute that particular research project, and I set many protocols into the laboratory due to this funding, and then it was carried out. So this was, you can say, the way how we can think and how a idea can click. See, it is a simple thing, right? The rationale is simple. Now at that time it clicked, but the thinking is very important. Now, it may happen, I'm just reading Amla, Harda and Beda, discussing with UG students and finishing with the lecture. No. So research is also important in our teaching. So what is my experience? Our teaching, it excels when it is supported by research. So if we want to teach our students, and if we are involved in research, the impact of teaching is very, very, very high as compared to our regular teaching. Even the students, they enjoy, because we give examples which are happening with us and which are not there in books. So this was the simple idea, and the project was sanctioned. And yes, it was a good project. We published good articles also, and the results were promising. So what is next step as far as this project is concerned? I studied this simple formulation in animals, preclinical, excellent results. Yes, next step is clinical study. And if this concept will be accepted in the clinical studies, if we get excellent results in clinical study, just imagine, Triphala Churna will be prescribed for management of complication. So this is our contribution to the society. It's an economical formulation, scientifically proved formulation, but we don't know what will happen in clinical trial. And that is a different part. But at least we set the tone for clinical trial based on these preclinical studies, that yes, this is the formulation from Ayurveda, which is our own system, and which can be used for management of these complication, and in economical way. So this was the Ayush proposal, and the DST proposal was based on the same line. It was a simple proposal, based on one plant, Boinia variegata, and this plant, I did a lot of literature on this plant. I was supposed to take this plant for my PhD, but I could not. But that plant was known to me, and then I wrote a proposal for its effect in diabetes as well as in diabetic complication. So of course that also clicked first, and then this EMR proposal from Ministry of Ayush. So this is very important, reading. Generally, we neglect this part of reading, and even students, they are not interested in reading nowadays. How many papers, how many research papers, how many review papers, how many you can say patents which are related with our area we read is big question. We are not reading. But this is very important. If we'll not read, the ideas will not come in our mind. And if ideas will not come in our mind, we cannot write any project forcefully just for the sake of writing. So generating ideas by reading is also very important. And yes, I have experience. If we just go on reading, now something will come in our mind which will click. So if we will not read, we cannot tell our students to read, right? So this is very important. Then I'll just start with actual proposal writing part, and what should be included in the proposal and what should not be included in proposal, and few important points which I feel important. I'm not saying that all these points are correct, but based on my experiences, I'm just sharing this information so that some of us will be benefited from this particular information. Let me share this screen. Okay, anything you want to ask based on this discussion?
No, sir, you can proceed with the.
Yeah, okay, fine. Is it visible?
No, sir.
No.
No.
Just a minute. Yeah, is it visible now?
No, sir.
Visible now. Now it is visible, sir.
Yeah. Now this is a template for a core research grant from Science Engineering Research Board, SERB. Okay. Origin of the proposal, review of status, research and development in the subject, then international status and national status, importance of proposed project in the context of current status, and if the project is location specific. Generally, this point is not applicable for us. Work plan, time schedule, suggested plan, environmental impact, etc., etc., etc. Okay, fine. We'll start with origin of the proposal. It is nothing but what? It is related with introduction. It is also related with a short review of literature, and it is also related with the rationale and hypothesis. So everything we have to write in only one page. So introduction part, it gives idea about importance of the subject or area which we have selected. Now, for example, if I'm again want to propose research in the area of diabetic complication, and to be more specific related with diabetic nephropathy, I will highlight the prevalence of diabetic nephropathy here. I will highlight the current treatment options for diabetic nephropathy here. And I will also highlight what are the emerging areas in diabetic nephropathy treatment. And then directly I will shift to my research proposal that I want to work on this formulation, which is helpful in management of diabetic complication, to be more specific, diabetic nephropathy. One page write-up. Even we should not exceed the words and the pages which are given by any of this funding agency. One page is one page. Then review of status and research and development in the subject. Now this is expected that we have to mention current research, not the research which has been done 15 or 10 years back, but within 5 years, what is happening in the area which we have selected for this type of research work. So international status, maximum 2 pages. Researcher working in the area of worldwide and their contributions must be properly highlighted with recent references and reviews. A correct and faithful description of international research status must be given. So again, diabetic nephropathy and, for example, some drugs like ACE inhibitors. And we are proposing a formulation with a new ACE inhibitor, and the formulation is economical formulation. For example, we have designed this project. So what we have to write in international status? International status means what type of research is going on in the area of diabetic nephropathy treatment with special focus on ACE inhibitors. So any scientist, they are working in the area of ACE inhibitors and nephropathy. Other types of formulations have been tried by some international researchers in the same area. Of course, our formulation is novel formulation. That is not in the question. But whether same type of approach have been tried by some international scientists, which international scientist, and what is the contribution? So one paragraph for each contribution can be written, so that maximum 2 pages we can write on. And see, it's very recent references. They have clearly mentioned recent references means what I think 5 years maximum, last 5 years. So same thing is applicable for national status, whether Indian scientists, they are working in the same area. Now this is also very important. Generally we don't know what is happening in the area which we are proposing in our country only. Now if you will ask me who is working in the area of diabetic complications in India, or who is working in the area of diabetic complications in other countries, I must have that particular answer. If I don't have that answer, how I will write this proposal? It is not possible. So which type of work is being carried out by Indian scientists in which institute, it must be known. And again, it must be recent work. So that's why in research, we know that defining our area is very important. We cannot, I told you, we cannot be expert in all areas of science. We have to select our area based on our interest. So this helps in getting deep into that area and publishing good papers and getting grants based on our contribution in that area. So that's why defining our area is very important. So international status and national status, so it can cover publications, it can cover patents also, patents filed in this area recently, and it can cover also review articles. But I will suggest that review articles, the number which we present in these status, it must be less, or it is better not to go ahead with review articles. Research references and patents will be preferable in these two points. Then importance of proposed project in the context of current status. They have mentioned highlight what is the new area or gap which will be solved in the project in relating to what is already known. And this is very important section to project the novelty content of the proposal. This is very important. What is novel in the proposed work? Because in above section, we have already discussed what others are doing internationally and nationally. So third point is that what we will be doing and what is the difference between the things which they are doing and what we are doing. Novelty is very important. And based on this particular, point, importance, many projects, they are screened at first stage only. If the reviewer will not find anything novel, the proposal will not be entering into the next stage of evaluation. Okay, so this one page will be involved in decision making of granting funds to this proposed work or not. So we have to write it very carefully. And you might be knowing that nowadays funding agencies, they are checking similarity index or plagiarism of the project submitted to for funding under different scheme. So it is very important, and it has become important that we have to write everything in our own words. We cannot copy paste from any paper or any patent. Otherwise, the proposal will not be screened itself. If they find the similarity index is high, the plagiarism is high, the proposal will be rejected at that time point only. So writing in our own words All these points has become very important. So importance of the proposed project in the context of current status. Location, no, it is not related with our, you can say, area. If it is related with clinical studies or some other projects where, you know, different types of centers are involved, then they can write this particular plan or point. Then it, yeah, one point is not there, but it should be included in the details is objectives. So they have not mentioned objectives, so we have to mention objectives. And we know that objectives are very specific. Objectives are very specific. Now if we talk about any pharmaceutics project, we cannot write, you know, to formulate this and to evaluate, to go for you know, pre-formulation studies like this and to study dissolution pattern of this. No, these are not objectives. What is objective? To design and to evaluate the formulation containing this. This is our objective, and these are the parameters which we are using to attain that particular objective. Pre-formulation study, checking solubility, checking pH is not our objective, it is a part of our objective. So framing objectives is very important when we write any proposal. The objective must be clear, and by reading those objectives, the reviewer must come to know what will be outcome of this proposal. What will outcome of this proposal? Because, you know, previously we have set the tone by you giving international status, national status, and what is how our proposal is novel, and hypothesis we have, rational we have given in the first point itself. So based on that, we have to frame our objective. So the projects which I worked, what was the objective? To study effect of this formulation in animal model of diabetic nephropathy. That's it. This is a single objective. I cannot write, you know, to study effect of this formulation on urine output, to study effect of my formulation on oxidative stress in that particular organ. No, these are the parameters which we will be using to check that particular objective. Objectives are only one line statements which will be giving clear idea about outcome. Okay, so majority of proposals, you know, they lack specific objectives, and we cannot have, you know, 6 to 10 objectives in one research work. No, maximum 5. In some cases I have seen 2-3 objectives only, no problem. But the next part which we are discussing, work plan methodology, is totally dependent on objectives. You can see that, you know, methodology, it should contain all details of how each of the objectives will be addressed. This section must be detailed and have clear plans, not vague and generalized statements. It should have several schemes, table, figures, equation, in addition to text, explanation, justification of why project research plan will work. This is very important area. Now, if I'm framing this objective to check the effect of this formulation in animal model of diabetic nephropathy, this is my objective, and what will be the method which will be followed for getting this objective, I have to describe here. Now here I'll see 5 pages. If we go 6-7 pages, that is fine, but this is very important because this point will tell reviewer whether the PI has understood what should be done in the laboratory or not. Now, if the objective which we are discussing, what will be written in this methodology? So here in methodology, I will write first my objective. First, we will write objective, you know, to study this formulation in animal model of diabetic nephropathy. Okay, what will be done? How we'll go ahead? So again, we have to see how this diabetic nephropathy will be induced. So I will be writing entire procedure with reference. We'll be using streptozotocin and giving it intraperitoneally. We will be checking blood glucose level, and if blood glucose level is above this, then we consider the rat is diabetic, and then we'll include it in the study. We'll keep it for 6 weeks, 4 weeks, and after 4 weeks the diabetic nephropathy symptoms will be there, and we'll just start the treatment. Then we'll check blood glucose, we'll check urea nitrogen, we'll check creatinine, we'll check urine volume, we'll check urine parameters. Then we'll sacrifice the animal, we'll check oxidative stress parameters in kidney, and urine parameters. We'll also study expression of proteins which are overexpressed or underexpressed in this nephropathy condition. We can also go for immunohistochemistry, histopathology, detailed staining with various stainings like PAS staining, trichome staining, etc., etc. All these things will be included in methodology. Here I cannot write, a suitable chemical will be used for inducing diabetes. No, this will not be accepted. You have to write what is that suitable chemical. See depth of the information which is required by the reviewer, grant reviewer, to understand whether a PI knows or not what is to be done in the laboratory. We cannot copy paste procedures from research papers and just make it in future tense. No, it is not done. In some cases we have to modify. See, we have to plan actually what will be done in laboratory. And if the project gets sanctioned, we can just hand over this copy to the junior research fellow which will be appointed on the project, and will tell that, see, the methodology is clear, these things needs to be done in the laboratory. That much preparation, that much information is required to be given in this part. This is very, very, very important part. Minute details are expected by the reviewers, and let me tell you, this part is neglected by many of us, because what we think that we have excellent rationale, we have excellent literature, we have good objectives, but the reviewer sees that the methodology is not properly written. PI is not knowing what should be done in the laboratory. So each and every detail related with each objective. So methodology should be written with respect to objective. We'll write objective this methodology, objective 2 this methodology, objective 3 of the project this methodology. Methodology is dependent on objective. Okay, and justification for each method, it can also be written in this part. Oxidative stress, why you want to study oxidative stress in diabetic nephropathy in kidney? You can add 2-3 lines, because kidney suffers from severe damage which generates oxidized ROS, reactive oxygen species, which further damages different tissues. So it is necessary to see whether the formulation is working in that particular area and whether the formulation is protecting further damage to other cells. That's why we are doing this oxidative stress parameters. Okay, so methodology part should not be neglected. It must be written properly and in detail. We have to just think while writing methodology is that the project has already been sanctioned and we are starting the lab work from tomorrow. Generally, we do it for MPharm PhD students, right? We discuss with them, what should be done in the laboratory. So here we have to imagine that, yes, we'll be doing all these methods to get these objectives. So we have to spend a lot of time on writing methodology part in detail. They have clearly mentioned, don't go for vague statements. The diabetic animals will be used to study. How these animals will become diabetic, you are not mentioned, means this is a vague statement. Okay. Then time schedule of activities, giving milestones through bar diagrams. This is also important. Generally the project duration is 2 years or 3 years. So what you will be doing in 2 years or 3 years? Detailed plan. So whether you will be attaining objective 1 in first year or objective 2 in second year, or how, that plan method wise, I will suggest to give method wise, not detail but method. For example, to study effect of the formulation in diabetic nephropathy, oxidative stress parameter, I will take 1 month to assess oxidative stress parameter. The procedures are lengthy, you can take. So detail month wise what we will be doing in each year of the project, it needs to be focused. Then suggested plan of action for utilization of research outcome expected from project. So this is also important, when we will be finishing with the project, what will be its outcome and its utilization. I told you that Ayush project, what is outcome is I got good results, but how it will be utilized, this outcome will be utilized for designing next study, which will be the final stage and which may give good results, and formulation can be available to public for management of that particular condition. Such type of things are very important. If we are if we are designing a new formulation, we can which is economical formulation or a novel formulation used to treat some complicated disease, yes, that particular technology can be transferred to industry. So industry, we can write utilization, it will be transferred to industry for further investigation, or the technology can be transferred for industry, etc. Environmental impact and risk analysis, if it is applicable to our project, uh, it has to be mentioned. Expertise, now this is very important. Expertise available with the investigator. I told you, defining area, we have to define our own area. Or we cannot be specialist in all branches. Professional expertise, we have to develop our expertise existing with each of investigator in terms of publications, patents, preliminary result. Execute every component of the proposal should be highlighted. Nowadays they are also asking for preliminary data, preliminary results. So if we have already done some type of some type of experiments related with this type of work which is there in the proposal, it is very important we can give this particular preliminary data, preliminary result, which can be useful for getting funds for this proposed research. And executing every component of the proposal. So if we are writing a collaborative proposal, obviously we should define it, which part will be done by which investigator, which part will be done by which institute. It should be clearly defined. The board does not encourage investigators who do not have specific scientific role in the proposal. Now this is also important, just to write name of anyone who is nothing to do with proposal, it is not a good practice. When we say it is investigator, it may be principal investigator, it may be co-investigator, they have to work for that particular project. We cannot add name of anyone just for adding the name. It is not advisable, should not be done. All investigators, they have to give time for executing this particular project. Then key publications published by investigator pertaining to theme of the proposal during last 5 years. This is very important. If we want to write proposals, we must have publications in that area, and that too in 5 years. That's why we have to publish something, not always you can say a groundbreaking research, but whatever research we are doing, though it is very small research, it is necessary to publish that research. Generally we neglect this thing. One of our MPharm students will do something, a small project, a good project, yes, thesis will be submitted and the degree will be given to the student, but we must take efforts to publish that finding, though it is a small finding, in a good journal. I'm talking about good journal, I'm not talking about high impact factor journal, etc., etc. A good journal. And we know what is a good journal. We should not go for publishing our content in predatory journals, the journals who are taking fees and publishing without peer review, without giving comments, etc., etc. We know how to check credibility of the journal. We can go to that UGC site, which has come up with excellent list of journals. They have removed many journals, predatory journals, from their list. UGC Care, you might be knowing UGC Care list of journals, or Scopus Index journals, or PubMed Index journal. We have to set our criteria. So it is very necessary to publish, not always in high impact factor journal, but in good journals. So it sets our area. And these small publications will also help us, because if we don't have anything published 5 years, what we will write in this 4.3 point key publication? We don't have any publication. It is very important to publish whatever we do in the laboratory. Then bibliography, all the references which are there related with the proposal, list of projects submitted, implemented by the investigator. This is also important. I told, no, generally they see how many projects are handled by PI or co-investigator. This is very important, because to give time and to implement that project is a very important task, and we cannot handle so many projects at a time. So this table will give idea about the ongoing projects, projects under implementation, projects completed during last 5 years. This is also important. The funding agency will see whether the principal investigator is having capability to complete the project successfully or not, to utilize the funds in a proper way or not. So projects completed during 5 years, and of course facilities which are there with institution, or which are there with PI or PI department or institute in other region. This is also important. Nowadays all labs are accessible to everyone, and all these good institution, they are providing facilities, outsourcing facilities. So this is not the case that this analysis cannot be done at my institute, so how I will go ahead with this project work. No, fine, we have other institute which is located nearby, they have this facility, we can utilize this facility. There are some nominal fees we can pay, and we can utilize the facility. So this is also important move to utilize all the instruments available at various institutes in the region, so that they will be helpful. See, there is no lab in the world which is excellent lab, which is equipped with all instruments and equipment, and it is accessible. Ideal lab, no. Of course, we have to work in the resources which are available with us. But if we don't have any resource, we have to find out where it is located, and we have to go ahead with the planning and with our research. We cannot just sit, I don't have this instrument, I cannot do my research. No. Even in other countries, yes, why they collaborate, why the collaborations are required? To share the work. Why sharing of work is required? Expertise and availability of resources. Otherwise, all institutes, all university, all departments, they will publish their work individually. There will be no collaboration. So that's why nowadays the concept is very open. The isolation concept has gone. If we don't discuss, if we don't talk, we are losing at this time point. The name and address of expert institution interested in the subject and outcome of the project. This is also important. Who is interested in outcome of the project, or who is interested in this particular project? Why this question is asked? This question is asked from next step point of view. Now, if here I can write, these industries will be interested in outcome of the project. If we are formulating a new, you can say, dosage form, which is very useful for society. Yes, who is you can say interested in this project? Industry will be interested in taking up this formulation ahead. So we can write industry. We can write institutions. Now, for example, preclinical research in specific area is done at one institution, and next institution is doing research in similar lines, not on the same lines, similar lines. They can take up this project ahead, which will go into some type of good outcomes. So to break this chain of just isolating that particular area of research and stopping that research at that point only, such type of questions will be asked. So outcome based projects, they will be taken up, and we will be having some, you can say, good product, good approach, which will be utilized on a large scale, not only in publication part or patent part, but actually utilized in a large space. So these are the points which we have to focus on each. And what will happen, I will tell you, we will prepare our project proposal on the basis of this format, and when you will be entering into the portal, online portal, you will find few more points. So it's my suggestion that first you log into the site and start feeling something. You will come to know what should be the next point. Here there is no summary part which is there in EMR or core research grant proposal, but that summary part is there in online portal where we have to upload this proposal. So what if we are not proposed the summary? Yes, again we'll be spending time in writing summary. So it is always better to go to that online portal first, enter something and take out the information for the points which are there on portal and which are there in the format which is given on the website. So in some cases it may happen that few additional points are there on the portal itself, but it is not there on the document which is in the website. So it saves time. Otherwise, if the deadline is approaching, we just write something in that particular online portal, and again this effort it goes in vain. So that part is also very important. So the structure of all proposals is similar with some differences in few points. Otherwise, this is the, you can say, ideal template which can be used by many funding agencies. The same thing is there for SRG also: startup grant, origin of the proposal, research plan, key publications, bibliography, equipments available. See, this is a simple proposal for newcomer startup research grant. This is for core research grant by ACRB. So this is about, you can say, a few points related with funding, how to write proposal. The next important point which I want to highlight when we submit the proposal is preparing budget. So can I ask one question? How you frame budget? Anyone? Yes. Budget.
Hello, sir. Actually, we are framing the budget based on the consumables. Then there are various heads. It is mentioned in the guideline itself. No? So accordingly, and if it includes any separate heads, then accordingly we prepare.
Okay, fine. Now see, generally we are not emphasizing on this budget part much as compared to objectives and introduction part, etc. But this is also very important point. Many proposals are rejected or revised based on the budget part. Now generally what we expect, we should add more budget so that we'll get money to buy chemicals and etc. But this is not the case, because all these reviewers and the experts who are sitting in that committee, they are scientists only, and they know what is required for such type of proposal. So it is always necessary to see that all these heads, they must be well justified. Now for example, manpower, DST has come up with the office memorandum of the fellowship paid to JRF and SRF and to research associate. So this is a fixed amount. We cannot change that amount. But what is this HRA concept? We have to pay HRA to that fellow also. So what type of rules are applicable for HRA in our state or in our city must be known to us. Because in Mumbai, HRA rules are different as compared to cities in Maharashtra. So these rules must be known to us, because HRA plus fellowship, they have clearly mentioned HRA plus fellowship. So, and if we are providing hostel, there is no point in mentioning HRA in the proposal. We have to just mention the fellowship amount, 32,000, 35,000, whatever it may be. No HRA, because institute is having a hostel facility. But in Mumbai, if hostel facility is not there, if in the country, city, hostel facility not there, yeah, we have to pay HRA. So what are the rules related with HRA? We must know. And these points should be written in the justification part in the portal. Why you are mentioning 32,000 plus 30% HRA. So 30% HRA is as per this rule of this state or whatever it may be. Okay, so this is for manpower, and even we should go through rules and regulations for all these heads before finalizing the budget. We must know the JRF is promoted to SRF after 2 years. If the performance is excellent, JRF to SRF, so that student can be benefited in its third year by increasing its fellowship. This is also important, and this point needs to be emphasized while submitting the proposal. After the proposal is sanctioned, and if at that point you have written 3 years, 1 JRF, they will sanction 3 years, 1 JRF. But we know if the JRF is good, third year we can promote to SRF. This thing should be, you can say, focused. Then all these consumables. Now consumables, what I suggest, we have to make a list of all these chemicals, kits, whatever it may be, in detail, and then just add that particular amount in the consumable section. I will suggest add 10% more amount, because the project will be scrutinized, sanctioned, and after 1 year, you can say the amount of that chemical, it may be increased by 5%, 6%. So we can have 10% extra amount, but actual amount for this part. And then instrument equipment, yes, it is very necessary to buy a reputed company instrument under this scheme, because these are assets for our institute. These instruments will be used in future by our students, by our faculty colleagues, and by other researchers also. I told you that all institutions, they have opened all their laboratories to outsiders. Even we are providing our instruments to outsiders on you can say some nominal fees basis. Collaborations, of course, the terms are different. So the instrument which we will purchase, it must be of good quality, because we have to think of future. This instrument will be used by our students, our faculty members, our researchers. Now, I am very happy to share that the instruments which I purchased from my grants, they are utilized 100% by all our students, PG students, PhD students. Now I am not looking into those instruments, but they are utilized. So this is very important, why we should procure good quality instruments. We have to spend time on finalizing the instrument. Specifications of the instruments. Generally, if we neglect this part, we have to regret why we have purchased this instrument. इससे अच्छा instrument और market में available था. So just see, for writing a proposal, how many points we have to focus on. We have to study this instrument. We have to talk to people. We have to talk to scientists who are currently using these instruments. What are the problems associated with this instrument? Maintenance issues related with the instrument. Procuring is very simple. We'll ask for quotation, place order, etc. What next if that instrument it stops functioning? Whether the facility of maintenance is available or not in India. What about the cost of maintenance after 3 years, 5 years? These are very important points, because it may happen the instrument is excellent, but the facilities related with maintenance, parts are not available. The instrument will be lying down in the laboratory without use, and in that condition only. This should not happen, because this is the, you can say, fund which we are receiving from the government. It must be utilized properly, and it must be utilized continuously by our students, by faculty members, and by outsiders also. So this is very important justification for equipment or instrument. We have to study what we have to purchase. Just like I think when we want to buy LED TV, or we want to buy some vehicle, we go into market, we study different website, we study different models, we study cost, we ask our friends whether you are using this vehicle, what is its average, etc., etc. We do a lot of research when we purchase something like this. Same type of research is also useful when we purchase any instrument in our college, in our laboratory, and this must be reflected when we write it, justification for that instrument. Then contingency. What needs to be added in contingency? Contingency means what? Something which comes at that point. So we can take stationary expenses, we can take expenses of advertisements which we'll be giving in different newspaper for our research fellows, etc., etc. Or contingency, it may be some type of outsourcing expenses. We can go in that particular head. Anything else in budget? Yes, budget for all these heads, a few agencies, they have their own rules. So before designing a budget, we must have clear idea about all rules, regulations of each head for that funding agency. ACRB separate rule, ICMR separate rule, Ministry of Ayush separate rules. So we have to study that document for budget carefully, and then we have to put a realistic budget. Realistic is very important word, because if the scientist reviewer will come to know that this is exaggerated budget, this type of budget is not required to implement this type of project, the project will not be sanctioned, or they will ask for revision in the budget, means your project will go in next stage, next year. This stage is gone because you are working on revision. So it is better to put realistic budget in the proposal. Now, if our research is based on the instrument which are already available in our instrument, there is no need, there is no rule that we must include instrument in our research proposal. That's fine. We can ask for manpower, we can ask for consumables, contingency, that's it, no instrument, because instruments are there in our lab. Fine, no problem. The cost of the total project will go down, no problem. What we want fund to carry out research, and if the research is done with the help of available resources, fine, this is also okay. It is not always necessary to put anything instrument just to sake of the sake for purchasing instrument, not necessary. So budget is also important part which needs to be focused when we submit any research proposal, because yes, the content is seen, the rationale is seen, the objectives are seen, and at the end the committee also focuses on budget, what has been proposed by the principal investigator. Okay, this is fine, this is related with the research project, but when the research project is sanctioned, implementation is also important. PI has to work a lot to implement that project. Just like our lectures, practicals, we have tight schedule, we have to give for we have to give time to execute that project, we have to keep record of everything, and it must be you might be knowing that utilization certificate, statement of expenditure, reports, yearly reports, final report, etc., 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 they must be submitted on time to funding agency, because all these records and the, you can say, way we implement project, it creates impression of the PI in funding agency, it creates impression of the institute in funding agency. That's why it's a big challenge to take up a project. Yes, of course, we are, all of us are capable to take any challenge. We are teachers, we can take any challenge, and this is also a challenge which can be taken up easily by anyone, but we have to spend time so that, you know, name of our college will be there in good books of that institute. So when any next proposal will come to that funding agency, the funding agency will say, yeah, this college, yeah, they have done excellent project, they have submitted everything online and they have done a good work, excellent work. Yes, this is a good institute, we can give this fund to this institute. So it is our reputation. Reputation is based on what? The principal investigator, the faculty, the research student who works on that particular project. And yes, the reputation, it goes finally to the college. So I think I will stop here. These are my experiences, and I hope that, you know, you might get a few points from my discussion with you regarding research project writing. And I told you that openness is very important nowadays, that the days of isolations have gone, we have to talk with each other. We are busy, yes, in our work, but we have to find to talk with each other, to discuss ideas with anyone, and to work in a team for doing a good research. Research cannot be done in isolation. Research is done with passion, with team, and with openness. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think now session is open for question and answer. Those who have any queries or any clarification is required, the session is open for that. Sir, from my point of view, I just have one question, sir. So, can
Yes,
we
sir.
collaborate with more than one PI for our any of the project proposal? Can you collaborate with any other institute? Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes.
there is
Now,
co-investigator from the institute actually.
yes, we can, but again, I told you the scheme. We should go through rules of the scheme. Now, for example, startup research grant, there will be no collaborator. Only single faculty can submit that proposal. But as far as core research grant is concerned, we can collaborate. We can also have international collaborators also. So for DST Inspire, there is no collaborator. Only single faculty can be the investigator in that project. So it depends on the scheme. If scheme allows, we can go for collaborations.
No, as he told that we cannot, we won't be the expert in a single field, more than
Yes,
one
of
field.
course. Yes,
So in
yes,
that
yes.
case, we are not an expert. We can depend upon the other collaborators, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Collaborations are open in majority of schemes. Majority of schemes. Even you might be knowing there are a few schemes by DST where industry collaborators are there.
Yes, yes.
One collaborator from industry is must. You might have gone through some schemes of BIRAC,
Yes,
DBT.
yes, sir. Pyragus.
Where industry collaborators are there. Academic collaborators are also there. Industry collaborators are also there. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Those who have any queries, please, you can ask. Session is open for that. Yes, any others? Those who have any queries, you can.
Sir,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
actually, my doubt is, sir, can we make any research proposal based on the clinical evidence? For example, in case of homeopathic, the scientific information is very limited. So, can we make any proposal based on that?
Yes, we can. But again, I told you, you have to tap a correct funding agency. If it is based on homeopathy, I think Ministry of Ayush and that to CCRAH, RH, that is Central Council for Research in Homeopathy, will be the best, you can say, agency for approaching the funds. And again, you have to take help of homeopath who will guide you for this type of proposal writing. Yes, it can be done. It can be done. You can just visit a website of CCRH, Ministry of Ayush. You can just go through the funding mechanism also. It can be done.
Okay, sir. In that case, also, then suppose if we selected any formulation or any drug from homeopathic, then we won't get sufficient data for regarding that medicine or formulation. So, in that case, also we can go ahead with that
Yes,
particular drug.
yes, yes, yes. Now, Ministry of Ayush, as far as my information is concerned, my knowledge is concerned, Ministry is supporting the projects for creating scientific evidence to the traditional medicine. This is nothing but what you are talking about, creating a scientific evidence so that it
Yeah,
will be accepted globally, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yes. So what I will suggest, again, talk to the scientists who are there in CCRH
Okay.
and just ask them whether such type of projects will be funded, or even they can collaborate with you. Scientists from these council can collaborate with you. We have few projects at our institutes where scientists from there, they are with us. Only thing is that you have to talk to them and you have to show your interest in that area. They will help. Definitely.
Okay, okay, sir. Sir, then one more doubt. So in budget, you said whatever amount we are making on that budget, we have to provide the justification for each amount.
Correct.
Okay, okay.
Correct. For each amount.
Okay.
Without justification, they will not sanction the funds.
Okay.
Overhead cost is also important. I forgot, overhead cost rules are there. The cost which goes to institute. Each funding agency has their separate rule for overhead cost. It is not 5%, 10%, 15%, or same for everyone. We have to see when we, when we put that amount in budget, we must know what is rule for overhead cost. Otherwise, we put on ourselves, we are just 10%, we will add 15. No, this is not the case. We must go through the rules for overhead cost also. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Any other queries? Any other clarifications required? Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Padmanabhan, sir, Principal, HOD, Pharmacognosy, Nirmala College of Pharmacy, to give the conclusion note. Sir, please. Sorry, sir was not in the meeting, I think so. Sir, Principal, sir.
Yes, just hold the line. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Karthikeyan. And Dr. Yogesh, sir, actually, I am not able to join on time, and I was in other meeting.
No problem.
And in the initial phase, I listened to your lecture. Your deliberation was excellent, and moreover, you are given a high opening to all of my staff members that interdisciplinary related type of work need to be initiated. Collaborative work is required. Those days are gone, and we need to go for in a combined work type. Then only the wonderful outcome will be there. That was a really take-home message, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, and we may anticipate your your association in future also. We have a long journey to reach our milestone. Our Nirmala College of Pharmacy somewhat behind in terms of a consultancy and sponsored project. In other areas, we are doing good. Maybe the exposure or maybe the the curriculum, the things are not supporting us, but we are coming up. And a lot many times we'll be disturbing you through phone call and by email. I hope we'll render your means you can extend your services to us.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Okay. Thank you very much, and staffs who have joined for this 4-day in-house, FTP, really might be good for everyone. And thank you for active participation. And don't leave as such that you have listened some webinar and series of lecture. Take up as a task and try to implement. And our future is very shiny. And please explore all the topics been listened so far in the last 4 days. So with this, I conclude my closing portion of today's webinar. Okay, thank you, Karthikeyan. Yeah, yes,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Yogesh, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'm leaving the meeting.
Just a minute, sir. Yeah,
okay,
just a minute. So now I would like to invite Dr. Prija G. Pillai, Head R&D Cell and HOD Pharmacology, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, all. I'm here to propose the vote of thanks. I would like to express our sincere gratitude to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Yogesh A. Kulkarni, for making our session very meaningful and interesting. Thank you, so Yogesh. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our administrator, Reverend Father Jose Matai Mailade, for his constant support and guidance. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our principal, Dr. R. Bhatnaban, for his encouragement and motivation. My heartfelt thanks to IIC Cell Coordinator and members of R&D Cell for their constant effort for motivating the faculties. Last but not the least, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our active participants or student faculties as well as the faculties of Nirmala College of Pharmacy. Once again, I thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now, with the permission of principal and vice principal and all other coordinators, now the meeting is ended. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. All can leave the.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sebin sir, you can stop recording, sir. Sebin sir.